Thousands of East German refugees cleared for the West. President Bush campaigns for Republican anti-abortion candidates. And miracle medical machines that may not work. This is the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting. Good evening. The communist nation of East Germany is fighting for its life tonight and still bleeding out of control. A frantic series of reforms, including the sacrifice of top communist leaders, has so far failed to stem the flood of refugees pouring out. Tonight, the new party leader, Egon Krenz, went on state television to announce that 5 hardline members of the old Politburo would step down next week, axed. He promised sweeping reforms and appealed to East Germans to stay, saying, "We need you." Still, many East Germans have given up on their homeland. Tonight, thousands more of them in Czechoslovakia are now set to leave for the West. Martha Teichner is on the scene in Czechoslovakia.
In 24 hours, hundreds have become thousands of East Germans, once again jammed into the West German embassy in Prague. They were cheered over the fence tonight by chants of "We want out." By the time a deal was made to get them out to the West, the embassy was close to its saturation point of 5,500, a teeming tent city on a cold night, with temperatures falling to freezing.
West Germany, oh God.
You're very happy then to be here?
Yes, very.
This is proof of the impossibility of the situation Egon Krenz, East Germany's new leader, finds himself in, the price of even a hint of reform. Tonight, Krenz appeared on East German television and promised sweeping political and economic reforms. But it was too little too late for the flood of refugees on the run who left East Germany as soon as travel restrictions were lifted. Today, as West German diplomats watched the buildup, they worked frantically to avoid a repeat of the health nightmare they faced here a month ago.
If it will rain, what we fear, then we are in a total mess.
Refugees are said to be arriving 1 a minute, with no let-up in sight. East Germans who don't trust their new leader no matter what he promises. The only thing he has delivered is what they're getting now, the chance to leave. Martha Teichner, CBS News, Prague.
While East Germany was hemorrhaging citizens through Czechoslovakia, elsewhere in Eastern Europe today, there were hints of even more radical changes to come. A nonviolent movement for democracy suddenly erupted in the hardcore communist nation of Bulgaria. 4,000 people marched on government headquarters and delivered a petition calling for environmental reforms. This was the first protest of its kind in Bulgaria in 45 years. Inside the Soviet Union itself, in the Baltic state of Lithuania, there was a law passed calling for a popular vote on a declaration of independence from Moscow. And in Poland, the Solidarity-led government announced it is cutting off millions of dollars in annual subsidies to the Polish Communist Party. A cabinet official said the move is designed to promote democracy and to save money in the face of an economic crisis. Continuing our overall coverage of the changing face of communism, Bert Quint is on the scene in Poland.
It's the Polish golden autumn now, and the days are getting short in this country's race against time. As another bitter winter approaches, there are even higher prices, fewer goods, and less coal for homes and factories. The new government is asking for more patience and sacrifice to keep democracy alive. Some people say they will sacrifice anything for democracy. Others talk about strikes for higher pay. Catastrophic for the nation, they admit, but personal survival comes first. Longshoremen in Gdynia complain political and economic reforms mean little when we earn just enough to buy one rotten piece of sausage a day.
We got just now freedom, but we haven't bread.
Now that the government is removing supports that kept down the price of just about everything, the next painful step on the road to capitalism is to close inefficient state enterprises. That could put 1 of every 3 Polish workers out of a job. At the Gdynia shipyard, 6,000 workers could be on the dole by year's end. Some 15,000 people, half the workforce at the Nowa Huta steel mill, Poland's biggest enterprise and once the showcase of Polish socialism, eventually have to be fired if the plant is to make its way in the new world of Polish capitalism. But there is something new in Poland, small pockets of hope as private businesses sprout up. Witek Kaminski and Jarek Połaczanski are steeplejacks. Like Poland, seeking political and economic freedom, they figure the payoff will be worth the risk.
Democracy is like a very high mountain. It's very difficult to get it.
Most optimistic are the young. So these words, freedom, democracy, they really have a meaning to you?
Yes, yes, of course. Because we are young, it's natural, I think.
But unless their parents can put bread on their table, solidarity, and the communists agree, the new government could fall and end this delicate experiment in democracy. Bert Quint, CBS News, Gdansk.
More of the day's news in a moment, and another look at the people among us who work not for themselves but for others. Giving, idealistic, dedicated, the best of us.
I think that the future is so fascinating and so interesting for me. I feel blessed. I'm far less pressured as I get older than when I was young. As far as having aches and pains, I'm no different than anyone else. Yes, I do have my share. And it's those times that I use Bufferin. Bufferin, my brand of aspirin, is different than plain aspirin. It has buffers that make it gentler to your stomach.
Bufferin, so you can do the things you want to do.
Ever try this coffee?
Oh, no. I use a special blend, brewed fresh.
So do we. But then we freeze dry it to lock in superior flavor and aroma until you release it.
Perfect.
Who are you? We're Taster's Choice.
After you've produced the yearly report in record time and made color part of your winning proposal, you'll know why Canon is the most popular copier in America. From personal to color laser copying, the choice is Canon.
You're on your way.
Come on, everybody, let's go!
I hate science.
Look at that.
Incredible Hulk and Wonder Woman.
Dow has committed major funding for this traveling exhibition at the Oregon Museum of Science and Industry. If we can help turn these kids on to science today, we can help turn out world-class scientists tomorrow.
Federal investigators charged today that your Food and Drug Administration's reliance on corporate honor systems to detect problems with medical devices simply isn't working. The report said manufacturers gave advance warning of difficulties for only 22% of the devices recalled in a 4-year period. Physicians themselves are raising questions now about one high-tech medical tool already used on millions of Americans. Correspondent Eric Ingberg looked into those complaints.
Ultrasound machines, medicine's new wonder tools. In the right hands, they can spot trouble in an unborn baby or a stroke threat to an adult. But congressional investigators, noting a flaw in a machine can lead a doctor to a wrong diagnosis, say the government is doing a bad job of keeping tabs of the ones that don't work.
There is failure to report failures of these devices, and there is an approval process which leaves open the question of whether or not, in fact, people are being properly protected and the devices are, in fact, safe or effective.
As part of a broad-ranging investigation of the medical equipment industry, Dingell's committee has subpoenaed records from Siemens, a major West German-based company which sells ultrasound machines in the U.S. Michael Maher once headed the company's American sales and says when a new model came out in 1986, there was trouble from the start.
I had reason to believe, based on complaints from physicians, sales reps, etc., that the machine was not giving good quality images.
In December of '86, Maher urged superiors to take some immediate steps with the Food and Drug Administration because Siemens had sold products that are, quote, not capable of doing what was represented. He added a warning.
We are in a very precarious situation as we could be liable for refunds and any misdiagnoses.
1 month after his warning, a confidential memo shows, the firm did order repairs on troubled units and prepared an explanatory letter to doctors who had them. Siemens now contends that Maher, who is not an engineer, was wrong and was overstating what were only software bugs. He was later fired from his post. Company officials would not answer questions on camera, but did issue a statement.
We are confident that our ultrasound systems are effective and safe.
Siemens did not notify the FDA of the trouble, one memo says, because the problem carried no risk of serious injury. Congressional investigators aren't satisfied with that argument.
Siemens as a company has a responsibility, no matter what the law says, to tell the FDA if the machines they are marketing don't meet the claims they make.
Siemens told the FDA that some of the ultrasound equipment suffered from a degraded image, but the FDA found no health risk, adding that precise specifications are hard to set. As new medical devices come out, the FDA often accepts the company's claims of what they can do with no testing. Now, lawmakers are voicing doubts that this kind of honor system is enough to guard the public's safety. Eric Engberg, CBS News, Washington.
Jim Baker, founder of the PTL ministry, today arrived at the federal prison that could be his home for 45 years. The 49-year-old Baker arrived in a snowstorm at the federal prison system's medical center in Rochester, Minnesota. He was transferred today from the prison in Talladega, Alabama. Officials said Baker, convicted of defrauding his followers, will serve in the general prison population, not as a patient. A woman who served 9 years of a life sentence for a robbery she said she didn't commit walked out of prison today in Dallas, Texas. Joyce Ann Brown was freed after a Texas appeals court said she was improperly convicted in the 1980 robbery. The court ruled prosecutors failed to disclose evidence that could have tainted the credibility of the prosecution's chief witness. Brown, who is 42 now, was the subject of a report on the CBS News program 60 Minutes last month.
Recognize that skyline? There's only one place in the world looks like that. Manhattan. Where the air's clean, the living's easy, and the food's great. Every time I'm in Manhattan, I order my personal favorite, the New York Strip. Delicious. Manhattan's known for its famous restaurants, so be sure to try all three. Beef, real food, Manhattan, Montana.
Announcing a new generation of owner satisfaction. We're so sure you'll love your new Oldsmobile, we'll let you return it within 30 days or 1,500 miles if you don't. Who else does that? Unlike some warranties, Oldsmobiles covers just one part. This is the part. Oldsmobile now offers roadside assistance around the clock, even in places where there aren't any clocks. The Oldsmobile Edge, there's nothing else like it.
If you think oat bran cereals are the way to go for overall nutrition, we're about to turn the tables on you. A leading consumer magazine just rated Nabisco shredded wheat ahead of all the leading oat bran cereals in nutritional value. That's how much fiber, protein, vitamins, and minerals per calorie we have and how little sugar and fat.
Gee, thanks.
And that should turn your ideas about nutrition around to Nabisco shredded wheat.
Final weekend before Election Day. President Bush went out campaigning today for Republican candidates for governor in Virginia and New Jersey, and by extension for the Republican candidate of mayor of New York. Mr. Bush talked up law and order, but as Leslie Stahl reports, he played down what may be shaping up as a key election issue and an election-losing position for Republicans and for Mr. Bush, a tough anti-abortion stand.
President Bush campaigned in Virginia today.
Our bodies, our lives, our right to decide.
As he stumped for the Republican gubernatorial candidate, Marshall Coleman, Mr. Bush came face to face with what Democrats say will haunt him and the Republican Party, the abortion issue.
Our bodies, our lives.
Coleman is trailing because of his right to life position. Neither he nor the president uttered the A word all day.
He deserves to win because Virginia deserves, it rates a man of principle.
President Bush is becoming entangled in an abortion web as he strives to stick with his position. Item, litmus test. Several scientific jobs in the government remain unfilled as a number of respected scientists offended by the administration's abortion litmus test remove themselves from consideration.
Scientific judgment should not be frozen by the icy kiss of religious dogma.
Item, adoption. Justice Department lawyers expressed outrage at this memo sent out by Attorney General Thornburg urging them to adopt a child. It's a message prompted by President Bush's directive endorsing adoption over abortion. Item, medical research. The administration extended a ban on federally funded research using fetal tissue, considered important in finding cures for AIDS, Parkinson's, and other diseases. Item, vetoes. The president has vetoed two big budget bills and says he'll axe a third because of abortion.
He's allowed this small, vocal, right-wing minority in his party to agree to absolutely no compromise, full speed ahead, and we'll run everything off a cliff, but we'll do it our way.
I think what President Bush is doing is he's making a bet that the right to life constituency is going to be there for him when it counts. And he's not so sure that he should cast them aside or anger them because he's unwilling to bet that the pro-choice constituency is going to be there when it really matters.
In New Jersey, the president campaigned for another Republican, James Corder, also in trouble because of his anti-abortion position. Pro-choice demonstrators were here too, as President Bush is finding more and more that abortion is becoming a central issue in his presidency. Leslie Stahl, CBS News, Bloomfield, New Jersey.
The United States Senate convicted another federal judge today. Judge Walter Nixon of Mississippi was convicted on 2 counts of perjury and stripped of his lifetime federal judicial appointment. Federal Judge Nixon is only the 7th U.S. government official ever to be removed from office by the impeachment process. But he's the 2nd U.S. federal judge to be convicted and ousted by the Senate on impeachment charges in just the last 2 weeks.
Tickets for Webb. We interrupt this purchase for a reminder. The Discover card actually pays you cash back for every charge.
I hope you like this.
It pays to Discover.
My great-grandfather Albert had some complicated ideas. Understanding this Einstein's theory of relativity just takes relatives. See, my new Rolls 88 Royale carries 6, plus front-wheel drive and 3800 engine for superb passing. It's perfect for today's nuclear family. You don't have to be an Einstein to figure that out.
Get up to a $1,000 cash bonus on a 1990 88 Royale. See your Rolls dealer today.
When you're constipated, you're not yourself. Constipation makes you feel crabby, cranky, slow, and sluggish. Feel more comfortable with Dulcolax. Dulcolax is the only leading laxative with a comfort coating designed to protect your stomach. A comfort coating and overnight relief, so you feel buoyant, bouncy, light, and loving.
In other words, your normal self again.
Dulcolax, the comfort-coated laxative.
You ever run up against a tough sinus cold? As tough as it gets, maximum strength Dristan is tougher. To sweep away congestion, pressure, and pain. And it won't make you drowsy. When you can't call in sick, call on Dristan.
10 years ago tomorrow, Iranians stormed the U.S. Embassy in Tehran and took scores of American hostages. They abused and humiliated them in the name of the Ayatollah Khomeini. Tomorrow, Iranians mark the day with the familiar Hate America rallies and ritual burning of U.S. flags. Tom Fenton has our report from inside Iran.
There were millions of mourners when he died. Now they're only a handful, tossing money on his tomb, shedding a few tears for the leader who ripped through this country like a hurricane. Now that Ayatollah Khomeini is gone, there's a whiff of despair in the air. Gone are the huge demonstrations that mobilized the masses. The only one we saw consisted of 20 men and lasted 2 minutes. The revolution has run out of steam.
After 10 years of fanaticism, Iran without Khomeini is finally joining the real world. You're beginning to see the changes in everyday life now. In some ways, things are easier. In some ways, they're harder.
There's a hint of cosmetics on street faces. Women are no longer afraid to show a lock of hair. The stifling black chadors are giving way to colorful headscarves. Women are rebelling against the puritanical dictates of the clergy. Falling living standards are the chief cause of anger. Real inflation exceeds 100%. And while a few make fortunes on the black market, the average Iranian has to give up smoking. A pack of cigarettes now costs a week's salary. Millions of Iranians exist on new government food stamps that entitle them to scraps of meat and other basic commodities. There's rising resentment against the clergy, but Revolutionary Guards, the clergy's private Gestapo, prevent any public demonstration of opposition. The war turned the world's largest oil refinery at Abadan into the world's largest scrap heap. Oil revenues have been cut in half to $10 billion a year. Iranians estimate the cost of rebuilding their shattered economy at $400 billion. No Western country is ready to loan that kind of money to a regime that still publicly castigates the West. President Rafsanjani is urging the United States to speed up return of Iranian assets that were frozen when the American embassy was seized in 1979. The embassy is still in the hands of the Revolutionary Guards, who use it as a school and garrison. Rafsanjani hints that Iran can influence the groups holding American hostages in Lebanon. But his own grip on power is shaky, and each time a Western official describes him as a pragmatist, it becomes a little shakier. The hardliners in the Iranian parliament watch his every move, looking for signs that he might be ready to make a deal with the West. The elements of a deal are there. Iran gets back its frozen assets, America gets its hostages in Lebanon. That was the same deal that got the Americans released from this former embassy back in 1981. Both sides face the same problem this time, how to make the deal without losing face. Tom Fenton, CBS News, Tehran.
In South America, in Colombia, a deadly car bomb attack overnight in the capital city of Bogota is believed to be part of the terror campaign by that country's drug thugs. The blast killed 4 people, including a child. Since August, almost 200 bombings all over Colombia have killed at least 29, wounded 226, most of that blamed on Colombia's cocaine criminals.
Butter starts like this, but can end up like this. So now there's all-natural Butter Buds. It has the same flavor as this, with no cholesterol and virtually no fat. Delicious. New Butter Buds. It's better than butter.
To the average car, this could be a dangerous body of water, even though it's only an inch deep. That's why you should drive the new 4-wheel drive Subaru Legacy, the latest in foul weather gear.
240.
211.
You? 175.
Whoa!
A few years ago, hardly anyone knew their cholesterol level.
215.
But now people are finding out.
182.
Many have started eating a low-fat, low-cholesterol diet, including foods like Kellogg's Common Sense Oat Bran, with more oat bran than any leading ready-to-eat cereal.
219. I gotta start living right.
Kellogg's Common Sense Oat Bran. To more and more people, it's the oat bran that makes sense.
It's happening now. The Crab Lovers Festival at Red Lobster. King crab from icy Arctic waters, steaming, succulent. Delicate snow crab to dip, drip, and savor. And now get your taste of our sweet, meaty Pacific Dungeness. We've created 8 crab and seafood combinations starting at just $6.95. They're here now and only at Red Lobster. Friday through Sunday, try our crab and shrimp special, just $10.95.
The best of us. During the past week, we've been looking at 5 men and women representative of a tradition, the American drive to make a difference. They symbolize those among us who do not turn away when confronted with the great national tragedies of disease and poverty and ignorance. Whether the problem is the homeless, the illiterate, the uneducated, the ailing, even the drug addicted, it means a challenge worth meeting for the best of us. Scenes from the ghetto. Images of drug abuse that have become all too familiar. What happens to the dealers, the users, the victims of drugs in the inner cities? Some wind up dead, many wind up in prison. A lucky few find their way into treatment.
Can you say to this group that I never intend to use drugs again for the rest of my life? Can you say that?
Yes, I can.
Let me hear you say that.
I never intend to use drugs again.
Welcome to RAP, a free residential drug treatment center for inner-city kids located in suburban Maryland. Some 80 men and women, youngsters most of them, drug addicts all of them, call this home for 18 months.
You take all this time that you want and play games with people and keep your attitudes up and not learn anything, and you can go out of here the same way you came in here 18 months later.
This is not an easy program. We don't make it easy.
Ron Clark founded RAP 20 years ago. A former jazz musician, former heroin addict, Clark is a man with a mission in life: to rid young people of the disease of drug addiction. He and his counselors force addicts to come out of hiding and face the truth about themselves.
I mean, you come here to be drug-free, and you know that honesty is the key to this whole thing, but you're conveniently dishonest. Whenever it fits you, whenever it suits your needs, you're dishonest.
You always choose the negative part of the environment. You always get caught up in the little sneaky little things, the little sly little things. You don't have no principles.
Yes, I do.
What more than anything else do you try to get them to understand?
What they're doing to themselves. What it is talking about educating people to understand that they can live their lives in a different way.
A parade on Georgia Avenue in the District of Columbia attracts young people and presents rap with an opportunity to drive home its message.
This is how cocaine damaged the body.
LaShawn Knight knows all about cocaine.
All my life I've been a drug addict ever since I was 9 years old. I'm 24 now, so I've been a drug addict for 15 years. I got 2 kids, a 7-year-old and a year-old boy.
At a rap session, LaShawn tells other residents and counselors that she gave birth to her youngest child in jail.
I love my kids, but I feel I'm not good enough to take care of them because I have abused my oldest one physically just as well as mentally.
You need to find out how you can forgive yourself on that. And as long as you don't use, you're going to be all right. And then babies are going to be all right.
The only problem with this place, people here say, is that there aren't enough of them. Too many addicts on the street, too few public places for them to seek treatment. At RAP, they believe in less prison time and more treatment time.
Anybody and everybody who would like to take advantage of treatment should at least have that opportunity.
I took things I stole. I sold my furniture, clothes, whatever I could get my hands on. And worst thing was me sleeping around with, anybody to get high.
Before coming to RAP, Annette Brown ran a crack house.
And I eventually got arrested, trying to make a buy. And when I went to jail, I was really scared then, and I realized I really needed some help.
Annette came to RAP burdened by the feeling that she let her family down, especially her mother.
I think a lot of my frustrations is with me,
You're grown. You're grown. And if you don't see it, then it's almost like it's not happening. You're doing well.
Basically, these young people here are fine people when they're not high, when they're not around drugs.
It's open house at RAP. Parents and relatives come to visit.
Hi, guys. Glad to see you. I'm glad to see you, too.
Annette greets her mother, whom she hasn't seen for a while.
It took family love and everything, but she's doing fine. And she had to realize that we really love her.
Why are you doing this?
We all look for what it is that we were put here for, what we were put here to do. After my brother's death, and not only dying as a result of an addict, but dying in prison, I had to think about and search myself, and finding that I had some effect upon other human beings, I felt that perhaps this was something that I was meant for me to do.
We all need somebody to lean on.
Ron Clark, among the best of us. And that's part of our world tonight. Susan Spencer will be here tomorrow, Connie Chung on Sunday. 60 Minutes has a great story Sunday night about the USS Iowa explosion. I'll see you Monday. Good night.
Sometimes in our life, we all have pain. We all have sorrow.
This is CBS.
Coming up on News Channel 5's 6 o'clock report, Sumner County teachers will get a paycheck. There is a compromise tonight in their school funding. If you buy Nashville gas, you'll be paying more soon. We'll have details coming up. And how safe is the building you work in? You'll find out in a moment. When those stories and history comes alive, our 6 o'clock report is next. Join us.